Hey, this is Tim and
Zach.
and we are here for our brand new show.
What have you done for me lately?
So we're going to be talking about the latest releases from musicians, artists, bands that may, for whatever reason, be off of your radar, off of our radar. Potentially someone that we or you loved a lot in their prime, in their heyday, in the peak of their popularity, but may not be listening to lately. So we're going to start things off with Alanis Morissette.
Alanis.
Debut episode. We're going to do this.
And isn't it ironic? Don't you think?
So Alanis Morissette's brand new album
What's it called?
from this year, Pretty Forks in the Road, 2020 release. It's her 9th studio album. The first one she's put out in 8 years, but before that she was putting stuff out consistently every 2 to 4 years. She also just had a Broadway musical put out a couple of years ago based on Jagged Little Pill, the big album, and some of the other singles. So, just to put this in context, I didn't know anything about her on the first 2 albums, which were dance pop albums.
Yeah, I didn't even know that she was a thing until Jagged
Yeah,
Little Pill.
and I'm fairly certain that those albums are horrible. I haven't listened to much of them, but I know the one track that I did listen to, it had within the first minute or two every dance pop cliche of the early 90s that I've ever heard. So.
Okay, party people in the house. Action.
I know you're gonna dig this.
So obviously, after those 2 dance pop albums, she rocked out on Jagged Little Pill, got huge. That album just went nuts everywhere. That would have been 1995. 6 of the 12 tracks were successful singles.
Oh, yeah.
Just to kind of put that in context, Thriller, Michael Jackson only had one other single. I think there were 7 singles off of that.
Off of Thriller.
Yeah.
Right. All right, so let's what was Hand in My Pocket? Was that one of them?
Yes.
That's the one I remember.
I have one hand in my pocket.
Yeah.
But I've got one hand in my pocket, and the other one is playing the piano.
I like that one because she's like going through diametrical different things. Like I'm something, but I'm happy.
Yes.
Blah blah blah. You know.
Yes, and she has admitted that she loves writing that way, in opposites or dualism or whatever.
Yeah.
And you'll actually see a little bit of traces of that on the new album as well. Yeah.
Cool.
So Jagged Little Pill was for me college.
I would have been 9
Okay.
during my time. Here's what I remember about Jagged Little Pill. My sister, who was 5 or 6 years older than me at the time, she was like into it hard, right? So she was listening to this, and as a 9-year-old, I was like, why is Anna so mad all the time? And so she'd be singing these songs. I thought they were catchy,
Yeah.
so I liked them, but I had no idea what she was talking about. So it wasn't until I was 15 or 16 until I was like, oh, this girl's deep. She's got some things going on that maybe I need to pay
Yeah.
attention to.
And I think there was girl angst and that style of sort of almost like you're in a therapy session with her, and she's just kind of airing out everything. But I think of Tori Amos. I think of other people that were doing that at the time, but they were kind of this little market, and when she starts doing it, it just blows
Exploded.
up and hits everybody. Yeah. And I think a lot of that is it's rocking out, but it's like a real pop kind of rock. It's very, very catchy.
Absolutely.
And so, she's kind of tried to replicate that through the years and had some success and not so much. I do have in my possession, the only album I have is the Greatest Hits. which reminded me of singles like Thank You.
Uninvited.
Uninvited was amazing. I remember loving that song so much.
But this is not allowed. You're uninvited.
She really hit me with the MTV Unplugged and the one that was called That I Would Be Good. That's probably my favorite Alanis Morissette song ever. Love that song.
That I would be loved, even when others feel me.
So the new album, Zach and I have not discussed our thoughts really on it yet. We want to save that for you guys. So what do you think?
All right. I thought that in Alanis's way, it's like we were talking about earlier. It's therapeutic, you know. It's her getting whatever off her chest. So I read an interview where she said, "I don't know if I need to be doing this right now. You know, it's middle of a pandemic, you know." And everyone around her was like, "No, you have to do this. Like you're getting like your thing off your chest helps me get like out of my own box, you know, and into, you know, like she has problems in this that are relatable, you know. So I think that that's important that she even put this out in the first place."
Yeah, and I think like hearing her talk about things gives you permission to talk about them.
Right.
Her feelings give you permission to feel those things, or at least to. A lot of times, with the best of music that I would relate to, it would be like putting into words something that I may not have been able to put into words in quite the same way that they have, but like you just instantly relate to that. And a lot of the things she's going through, postpartum depression,
Yep.
Ongoing for the 3 children that she's had, multiple miscarriages. She had a manager that betrayed her, stole millions of dollars over the years.
Yeah, so I can relate to all these things. You know, it
Yeah.
just really hits at home for me.
So someone out there can relate to neither Zach nor I have had postpartum depression that we know of.
Such pretty forks in the road.
So, as far as this album is concerned, what songs jumped out at you?
Yeah, so the second track, Ablaze. I really like that track a lot, yeah.
That's my favorite by far. Okay, why did you like it?
So again, with the relatability aspect, so she's talking about her problems, but it's also in a way of like a philosophical musing. Like she's talking about the snake and you know. Like,
Yeah, she frames everything in this grand scheme, and then she like hones in on the specificity of her situation.
So
yeah.
it's like you can take a philosophical musing and then puts you right back into your situation, and anybody can really do that. Anybody can relate to that. But I like the way she did it.
So Ablaze for me is a parent song. She is approaching it. She's given each of her 3 kids their own little verse. So she's like, you know, for my boy, and then she says all these things for my girl, all these things. And the big repetition on all the kids is, my mission is to keep the light in your eyes ablaze.
To my boy, my precious gentle warrior, to your sweetness and your strength in exploring, may this bond stay with you through all your days. My mission is to keep the light in your eyes ablaze.
And so, like, for me, like, listening to that as a parent, I think, yeah, like, most of the time you're concerned about, you know, structure and getting things done and getting, you know, the routine and the, you know, obey me or else.
Right.
And so then the flip side of that is you don't want to let that character, that uniqueness, that the wonder and the amazing experience that is childhood, you don't want to squelch that.
Right.
And so, yeah, I mean, immediately I'm just thinking like, you know, she's struggling with being a parent because she's got depression going on at the same time, that she's trying to be this light for her kids and this amazing, you know, attachment kind of parent.
Yeah.
And so like she's giving us all kind of this pep talk, really, I think, while she's also probably giving herself the same pep talk. And the first time I heard that song, she's doing all her songs right now remotely, where all her musicians are at their house and she's at her house and all that. And she's got her daughter, who's maybe 3, 2, I don't know. I have that written down here somewhere. 4. I think she has the 4-year-old with her. And, like, she's messing with the headphones and she's, like, talking while her mom's trying to sing, but she's, like, right there on her lap or whatever.
Right.
Second thing you'll notice is that often you think that there's not enough. It may feel dark, it may feel lonely.
I think this one was the one for her daughter or son, I don't know. But she says, I am here, hell or high water. This nest is never going away. This cord is unbreakable. This bond is beyond unshakable.
Wow.
So, like, yeah, as a parent, like, I mean, I'm pretty sure I was bawling my eyes out by the end of this song the first time I heard it. And then I saw that she can't think about it while she's singing it. Like, she has to think about, sports or something.
Really?
While she cannot be in the moment.
Self-distracting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I could totally see that, too. So Ablaze gets a big thumbs up from both of us, track 2. Other standouts, a lot of them are piano based. It's kind of got a chill vibe that, a lot of the guitar based ones are still there too. But
I have a critique on one of the songs. I think it's number 3.
Here are the reasons I eat, reasons I feel everything so deeply when I'm not medicated.
So Reasons I Drink is a single, like there's a music video to it and everything. It didn't really jump out to me as being one of my favorites. So.
No, it definitely was.
Yeah.
And I actually have a critique of it. I think the bippity-boppity-ness, as my late friend Casey would say, doesn't make any sense for the tone of the song. Like a lot of times you can have a different tone. Or confounding. Or contradictory tone. And it makes sense for the song, but for this one, I don't think it really makes too much sense. It's like, I think you wrote this music and tried to put words to it and failed a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know if fail's the right
I
word,
can see that.
Yeah.
I'd heard the opening track, Smiling. She uses that in the Broadway musical, so I'd heard that one before. But it's kind of the dualism of like the way you feel on the inside versus the way you present to others. I like that a lot. Nemesis is a pretty cool track. That is towards the end. 10 out of 11.
Okay.
The only thing that really jumped out at me about Nemesis was this driving beat that kicks in about midway. Anytime a song like sort of builds and builds to something, that really stands out. So not so much the lyrics, but I'm sure they're awesome as well.
Okay.
The song Her, which is the track before that, has kind of a spiritual, but like the feminine spiritual, kind of incorporates a couple of different religious traditions, but sort of just says, she sees right through my armor is the only lyric I remember. But it's like, that idea that that if there's a spiritual force guiding you, then they know the inner workings of your heart, and that's a plus.
Okay.
So I think she's kind of getting at that without being too specific to a particular religious tradition. But the her is the other.
Okay.
And she is.
The her is
she has comfort being brought from the idea of there being a spirituality or an entity that is embracing her in the midst of her, warts and all
Okay.
kind of self, which I like.
I like that too.
And so I pray to her today. I ask for mercy and I beg for patience.
So I saw her on Stern, and she did it. She was promoting this album, and she did a cover of "You Ought to Know."
A cross I bear what you gave to me. You ought to know.
But I felt like she was more interested in actually like you have to as an artist promoting the stuff that you want, that is new, that's fresh. I felt like she was really into this though. It wasn't just like, well, what am I gonna do now? I guess I better put something else out. I think this is a real meditation of what she's been, struggling with or contemplating.
And she was getting ready to hit the road for Jagged Little Pill's anniversary tour and, you know, play this new music too and get everybody excited for it.
I'm here to remind you of the mess you left when you went away.
And then COVID hit and the tour got postponed. The St. Louis dates are supposed to be next summer, so we'll see if that happens or not. I might, this episode may convince me to get a ticket if it's still going to happen.
Oh,
so
yeah, for sure.
We'll see. Well, we enjoyed pontificating on Alanis Morissette with you. Go check out the new album, Such Pretty Forks in the Road. We'll see you next time. We are going to be talking about AC/DC in our next episode. So we're going to drop one of these a week. So until then, enjoy. Thanks.